Hello and welcome to another Dimension Shift Studios 5-Minute Meta. Today we're going to be talking about Superman number 50, one of the chases from the Elseworlds set. This Superman is based off of the Dark Knight Returns story arc. His sculpt is pretty basic, just kind of shows him hovering above the base. He can be played at two different point values, either 230 points or 110 points. He has the Superman Ally team ability, a 9 range, the flight symbol, standard attack symbol, indomitable, and the standard damage symbol. For anyone who wants to play this character on a theme team, he's got the Kryptonian, Metropolis, Politician, and Reporter keywords. He also has a trait called a Symbol of Authority and Obedience. At the beginning of your turn, you may roll a d6. On a 5 or 6, Superman's powers can't be countered, and his attack rolls can't be re-rolled by opponents until your next turn. On a 3 or 4, you may remove an action token from him. On a 1, he can't be moved or placed until your next turn. The great thing about this trait is that you have the option of rolling that d6. So if you're really worried about not being able to move Superman that turn, then you can choose not to roll the dice that turn. But if it becomes very important for you to either stop someone from outwitting or re-rolling your attacks, or you really need to get that action token off, it's a risk that a lot of players would find to be worth it, especially if you're already in position to make an attack, because rolling a 1 only prevents you from moving. It doesn't prevent you from attacking normally. On his first click, Superman starts with an 11 speed, a 13 attack with super strength, a 19 defense with invincibility, and a 5 damage. On his first 3 clicks, he starts with his movement special power. We must not remind them that giants walk the earth. Superman can use charge and stealth. If Superman began the turn occupying hindering terrain, don't have his speed value when using charge this turn. All of Superman's combat values steadily drop as he moves down the dial. By the 3rd click, he loses invincibility and instead has impervious with an 18 defense rather than a 19. On his 4th click, he loses his movement special power and gains charge. And on his 5th click, which is where you would start at 110 points, he has a 10 speed with charge, a 12 attack with super strength, an 18 defense with invulnerability, and a 4 damage with shape change. On his 6th click, he loses charge and instead has flurry with an 8 movement and 11 attack with super strength and a 17 defense with invulnerability. And on his 7th click, his powers start to change drastically. He still has flurry, but he gains poison for his last 3 clicks, a 17 defense with toughness, and a 3 damage with his white special damage power, solar power stored by a suffering world. Give Superman a free action when he occupies printed outdoor hindering terrain and roll a d6. Heal him of half the result and put a scoured marker in that square. Squares with scoured markers in them are considered clear terrain instead of hindering terrain for the rest of the game. On his 8th and 9th click, he has a 6 movement with earthbound neutralized. His very last click, he has a 16 defense with toughness, a 2 damage with that white special power, a 9 attack with poison, and a 6 speed with earthbound neutralized. So by the end of this dial, you really start to see a severe drop off, but with the potential of gaining a lot of health back. So there's no point in his dial where he becomes a useless and non-threatening character. Even whenever he gets to the point where he's probably not dealing damage, somebody's really going to be gunning for finishing him off because he has the chance to really come back. I think that you will definitely see this character entering the meta as a powerful tentpole. He's 230 points, which is more than we would normally see filling that role or any role in a 300-point modern game, but he has so much potential, especially with the support that you're able to give him in the current meta. I would run this Superman at 230 points, equipped with Mjolnir at 10 points from the new Mighty Thor set. The way that this combination works is Mjolnir reads, effect, when this character makes a close attack that targets a single character, the target may be within range and line of fire regardless of adjacency. Modify this character's attack and damage by +1 when attacking a single adjacent character. Couple this piece of equipment with Superman's special speed power, we must not remind them that giants walk the earth, allows Superman to run his full speed of 11 and then make an attack on any character within 9 spaces as though he's attacking in close combat. He also has the Superman Ally team ability, which allows him to ignore hindering terrain for effects like stealth. On top of that, he's using charge as a part of this action, which means he would be able to take an object action at the end of that movement, which means you'd be able to use that super strength to bring his damage up to a 7 with a heavy object without modifiers. You could then add the Red Leader Kamen Prime from the Mighty Thor set for 50 points, bringing your team total to 290 points. This is a great support character because he has both Outwit and his special Perplex that can max out the rule of 3, So if you're needing Superman to get just a bit farther, you can bring him up to a 14 speed with Red Leader's power action, or you can max out his damage value at 8 on his top click. This team build leaves 10 points to fill with ID call-in cards for different scenarios that you might find yourself in. Another variant that I'd like to try is to run the Brainiac equipment piece for 25 points on Superman, giving him sidestep. The benefit to this is moving him into hindering terrain on his first click so you can start moving right away. Or moving him onto Mjolnir early so you could take a power action to equip him so that you're ready turn 2 to start taking actions to run him across the board and snipe people with his Mjolnir ability. Let us know what you think of these builds and this character in the comments below. Fortunately, we've been able to pick up one of these characters recently, so you'll probably see it in one of our gameplay videos coming up. Thank you again for watching another episode of Dimension Shift Studios, and we hope to see you in the next one. Thanks.